Well, hi everybody, good morning. Here in Acts chapter 5, from verses 17 to 42, we read of the opposition the apostles endured in preaching and proclaiming the gospel in Jerusalem. And what you and I can learn from these verses is that a truth that when believed, the person believing it can never go on with life as normal. The truth that I'm talking about is found in verse 42. Let me read it. Verse 42, Acts chapter 5. And every day in the temple, and from house to house, they continued to teach and preach this message: Jesus is the Messiah. The simple truth that Jesus is a promised Messiah changes everything. This is why the religious leaders of the day were so vehemently against the apostles teaching and preaching this to the people in Jerusalem. If Jesus really was the promised Savior, then their world was going to be very different, and they didn't like the different it was going to become. May I be so bold as to say that was then, but it's still prevalent today. Some people do not want to surrender to Christ because they like the way they are, even if it leads to destruction eventually. And many people are against believing in Jesus because it comes with laying your life down to someone else and being obedient to them. And they would rather make their own decisions and be obedient to themselves. You see, what was freaking the religious leaders out, and it still freaks many people out today, is that the truth stands no matter how you try to deflect from it. Jesus is the promised Messiah, whether you want to believe it or not. And when we refuse to surrender to Christ and be obedient to His will, we are, as Gamaliel puts it so aptly in verse 39, if this truth is from God, in other words, that Jesus is the Messiah, if this is from God, you'll not be able to overthrow them. Talking about the disciples. You may even find yourselves fighting against God. Some food for thought, isn't it, this morning? Well, I trust that God will bless you today, and I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow.